Hi and welcome to another gaming video, and in today's video, well, it's more of a cleaning video, and it's a bit of a follow-up to a previous video where I spoke about how I thought the A button on my Nintendo DSi XL was starting to play up, and it got me thinking. The most obvious solution to that is to take the whole device apart, take out the buttons, give the buttons a clean, take out the membrane, give that a clean, because it's generally the sort of black contact on the back of the membrane which touch the motherboard, which is where the issues come. There's dirt or grime in there, or possibly a split rubber, but not everybody feels confident about taking a console apart. I've taken many consoles apart, but I just don't feel like doing it to this one. This is my go-to everyday console. So the other solution is to give it a bit of a clean in situ, and there are probably about 3 different ways you can clean it. I will first off start by saying, whatever you do to your console, if it does anything to it, I will not be held responsible. But this is what I have done, and it seems to have sorted out the problem that I was facing with my A button. So the first thing to do is to grab a small toothbrush. I generally use a kid's toothbrush because the bristles are a bit softer, and just clean all around the buttons. You'll be surprised how much gunk actually just fills around these buttons. I do have a no eating policy when I play my consoles because I like to keep them clean, but you still get grime from your hands and whatnot, and it always falls and just gets inside there. I've taken consoles apart, and all around the outside of these buttons, on the bits that you can't see, is just full of gunk, and it's sticky, so it can make the button feel like it's sticking or not returning properly. So first port of call is just to give it a good scrub round with a nice soft toothbrush. You can do it with all of your buttons. Second thing you can try is some compressed air in a can. So you can just give the buttons a bit of a blowout. There we go. My suggestion is that you do not turn the console on for a little while after this, because it is just air, but it's slightly damp. And as you can see, it will evaporate. And my other suggestion is, do not get the screens wet or damp, because they've got layers in them, and sometimes the liquid or the whatever you're spraying into them can get in between the layers and cause you further issues. So give the buttons a bit of an air duster out. Yeah, I would suggest leaving it a little while afterwards, because it's compressed air in a can. It's very, very cold, and it does leave a little bit of sort of damp residue on there. So that's your second option. And if you are, well, I have this in most of the time because I do a lot of console repairs. This is rubbing alcohol. It's isopropyl. This is the highest you can get. It's like 99.9%. If you buy the 70% stuff, it won't evaporate as quick. So try and get sort of as high as you can, 95 and upwards. It's called rubbing alcohol. I think it's also called surgical spirit because it is used for cleaning and disinfecting, basically. So the other option you can do is take a little cotton bud, Q-tip, whatever you want to call it, and just clean around the buttons. Get a little bit of that liquid down the sides of the buttons themselves. Not too much, obviously. And it is, well, this is 99.9% pure, so it will evaporate. So you don't have to worry too much about there being lots of liquid floating around inside your machine. But as I said earlier, you do this at your own risk. I mean, I use this stuff for just giving my console a clean up in general. So as you can see, it's already started to evaporate. I do like to give the screen a bit of a clean over with this stuff as well. So there you go. You can always take a second dry one and just wipe off any excess residue, but it should evaporate. And you can always leave it. Like I said, I wouldn't suggest turning this straight on after it's had a good clean, especially if you're dropping liquid down the sides of these buttons. So just sort of squidge it and push the button to the side, because there is a little movement in there. You can see that. I think you can see that. You do get a little bit of a movement in the button, so there is a gap. So it just gets rid of any grime. The air duster is an okay solution. It will blow anything out that shouldn't be in there, but it could blow it to somewhere else. So there you go. That's 3 different methods of cleaning a console, especially handheld consoles or even sort of games controllers. If you're not up to opening the device up, some consoles are easier to open than others, but all of them require a little bit of expertise. And if you're not into that, you can quite easily clean your console over without opening it up. It's not going to give you optimum results. I mean, if you've picked up a console and it's absolutely filthy, just doing what I've just done isn't going to make a huge amount of difference, but it should work. So let's try this out. Like I said, I would highly recommend that you do not turn it on straight away, but as you see, I have, and mine's okay. So I've been playing a little bit of Wario Land 3. And I was having issues with the A button not being quite as responsive as I would have liked. And as you can see, I think it's worked. I mean, I did this cleanup process yesterday, and it worked fine. I think the A button is far more responsive than it was, so it must have done something. So, like I said, if you're not comfortable or confident in opening up a console, there are ways of giving it a clean. Obviously, you've got your bog standard toothbrush method, which is great because it means you can just give the whole console, not even just the buttons, a good cleaning over. You always get bits of grime and things in places that you don't want, and it's good to keep these consoles clean. I'm a big believer in keeping tech clean. I think it extends its life and, well, it stops it from needing to be stripped down a lot of the time. So yeah, you've got your toothbrush method. You've got some air duster, which you can buy anywhere. I bought this in a little pound store. It was only £1. Or if you want to go the whole hog, you can buy some rubbing alcohol, IPA, surgical spirits, whatever you want to call it. It is generally for insect bites, disinfectant any surface area, including tools and electronics. It also is great for getting rid of stickiness on things. It's great. It's an all-round thing, but it's awesome for cleaning, and because it evaporates so quickly, you don't really have any issues with sort of liquid lurking around where it shouldn't do. So there you go. If you need to clean your console and you don't fancy taking it apart, those are your 3 options. You've got 1, 2, 3. Hope you found that helpful. Link, like, subscribe, enjoy.